Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today we are going to be covering this legendary, elusive Phase 9 PvP blue post that is supposedly a leaked blue post. It's been going around the community. Huge shout out to No Hit Jerome for sending me this. I really tried to find it for like over an hour on Reddit and on Discords, and I really couldn't find it anywhere. So huge shout out to him, and thank you so much. And once again, this is very, very speculative, and I thought maybe the first one we did with the leaked class changes was complete craziness. However, that one turned out to be pretty dang true. So there might be some truth to this one as well. So I figured we might as well cover it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Voop. Alrighty, so we are here on this elusive blue post notes. So these are all the changes that are allegedly coming for the Phase 9 PvP patch. So hardness, orc racial stun resist reduced to 10% was 25%. Developer note, orc racial resistance to stuns remains strong, but we are aligning it closer to other racials. Stun proc effect from items such as Midas Minithel, Dark Card Torment now share a 10-second internal cooldown per player target. Chain stunning could sometimes create frustrating scenarios with little to no counterplay. Free action potions are no longer dispellable and now has a 15-second duration, was 30 seconds and dispellable. So all of those would be pretty drastic. This would be the first time, I think, in all of Classic and every iteration that they have straight up changed a racial ability, which would be kind of crazy. They have never really touched them or changed them. The only thing they did was give people the orc and human ones with axe specialization, like the spec ring runes. It just kind of really sucks for humans because they that is what they get with mace and sword specialization. So this would be kind of unprecedented and a crazy level of change, as well as like the chains. Like, it's not really stuns and CC that's the problem in PvP from what I've seen. It's people just getting straight up one shot, insta-gatted, no counterplay to that. So hopefully the rest of these changes actually are something cool. Then a turn in 10 Warsong Gulch marks and 10 Arathi Basin marks to receive 5 tarnished undermine reels. So I mean, 10 of those for 5 reels is kind of ridiculous. I feel like it should be 10 of each gives you 50. You could literally do a dungeon in the time it takes you to get 10 marks, which would give you more reels. So I don't know about that. That seems a bit like way too high. I could see like maybe 1 mark for 1 reel. That would be more in line with something that seems decent to me. The Blood Moon Kaldamu's debuff aura now extends to the surrounding area near the altar where he spawns. Players may now exchange 2 silver blood coins for 1 tarnished undermine reel. The cost of the Blood Moon PvP gear has been reduced substantially. That would be good. It would allow people to get more gear, and I think the Blood Moon event was a really awesome success. I would honestly love to see the Ashen Veil event scale to 60 and be able to do that as well and earn blood coins and a lot of honor with that too. I think that'd be fun now that we're 60, have the fast mounts. Instead of eyes playing defense, it could be really, really fun. Druid Balance. Waywatcher Eclipse set bonus now only affects non-players. So that allowed people to stun a ton with just Druid Starfall. Starfall damage reduced by 20% to players. Range, Dawnstalker armor set bonuses now only affect non-players. Killshot critical strike damage reduced by 30% to players. Resourcefulness, this rune now reduces the cooldown of traps by 20%, was 40. Locking rune, this rune now additionally reduces trap cooldowns by 20%. Rapid fire is no longer dispellable. Hunter pets now take 30% less damage from players. Ammo now stacks to 1,000. So what the hunter changes specifically are what sort of jump out at me as and why this might be more fake than anything, because this is where we actually are changing full-on runes. Like, this isn't in PvP combat. They're like changing some core things to them, and like making ammo stack to 1,000. That is just some random quality of life thing that they could have thrown in at any time. So that's where I start to lean that this is more player made instead of an actual sort of dev thing. Because like the top ones, we have dev notes, we have stuff like that looks very official. Here, this is where it starts to get sussy in my eyes. Then we have Mage, Temporal Beacon, Fingers of Frost, and Icy Veins are no longer dispellable. Frost Nova no longer consumes a Fingers of Frost. Balefire no longer pierces spell immunity. Scroll of Regeneration can now be bought from the reagent vendor. So I do love those changes. Balefire should pierce immunity because screw Paladins. Obviously, an Alliance player wrote these notes because that's literally the only thing that counters Paladins. So just, throwing that out there. Obviously, just I'm memeing anytime I talk about Paladins, guys. Take a breather. But the Scroll of Reintegration, I love that idea, as well as I think they should just give mages the res spell instead of having to go through that process. People are over it, no one actually does it, and mages just simply don't res. So if you want them to be a healer, just give them the spell like you gave druids their res. Crusader Strike Rune now gives a passive 30% mana reduction cost to Holy Light. Like I said, whoever wrote this, Alliance Paladin player. Priests, DPS Remnants of Revelation, 4-set bonus now only affects non-players. Dispersion now heals you for 4% every second, while active raid dispersion can now be toggled off. That's actually pretty cool that you can just turn off dispersion. I didn't know that you couldn't do that right now. I assumed you could because you can in retail, but I'm not sure when that becomes a thing. Dispel Magic now removes 1 magic effect to enemy targets was 2. Yeah, that right there is just an insanely game-breaking thing because it has PvE uses. So, that's just another thing that's this makes me think way more, this is more player-made than any sort of officiality. Then we have Rogue, DPS, Stealth Wraith, Armor, 2-piece, now only affects non-players. Backstab and Ambush deals 15% less damage to players. Blinding Powder and Flash Powder now stack to 100. They really want these stacks to go up for these quality of life things, which is funny. And here's how you can tell this is written by an Alliance Paladin player, because Paladin only got one thing. They want to nerf the Orc Rachel, and our Shaman changes are the longest by far. Purge now removes 1 magic effect, 2 players was 2. So that is what we would want to see with the Priest. It's that 2 players thing. Riptide. This rune now has a 50% chance healing reduction to yourself. Riptide no longer affects Power Surge rune. These changes do not affect Riptide if you have the Manatide totem or the Storm talent learned. That's just way too oddly specific. I don't think they would ever implement that. Feral Spirit. Spirit Walk now shares the same cooldown with Feral Spirit. These changes do not affect Feral Spirit if Storm Strike is talented and learned. So, once again, just a very niche, sort of odd PvP change. Tier 3.5 Resto Shaman 2-piece now requires Manatide Totem talent learned to function. So, once again, they really want to force Shamans into these builds instead of letting Shamans talent into a whole bunch of different things and mix and match all their sets just to be even remotely close to a Paladin. Two-handed Mastering now increases attack power by 15% was 10, and Storm Strike can no longer be dodged, parried, or blocked. Okay, so they actually gave some positive things towards Shaman. That's shocking, but they want them to be two-handed Shamans. Then Warlock Metamorphosis human version can now be bought at the Rune Vendor. Pets now take 30% less damage from players, and Warriors Mortal Strike now deals 20% more damage, and Battle Shout duration increased to 5 minutes was 2. So, like I said, it starts off really good, and these changes sound great. When we get to Hunter, it really jumps out at me as player-made. The Mages, player-made. The fact that Paladin only got one thing and Shaman got the longest list of class changes just goes to screams Alliance, especially with this Orc stuff. To me, I'd say this is written by an Alliance Paladin player. That is just a guess. And like I said, with the speculation of these notes and possible leaked things, we can always, take them with a grain of salt. But the only reason I'm covering this one specifically is because the other one that I covered with the tier 3 changes right before SE came out and those potential ones, a lot of that turned out to be shockingly true, and I was blown away. So you simply never know. Hopefully they take some of these good things, like there definitely are some great awesome things I think would be good for the game added, but also some of them seem very targeted and Alliance favoring. So if it's a PvP patch, the idea would be to balance PvP inside, not just single out one faction or class. So anyway guys, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. If it turns out to be true, awesome. Hopefully we get some of these changes. I'm all for PvP being a part of the game, although I don't really participate in it here on SOD or in WoW really anymore. I used to back in the day with Wrath and Kata and Mop. I did PvP as my primary stuff, but now it's just too figured out for me, too meta-y, too this is what you do, especially when we're replaying the expansions. There's no real like excitement or discovery, but that's just my thoughts. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy it, and until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.